Thanks for joining us on the Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. We are live in Trussell Media Studios with the incredible Troy Trussell. So Troy produces our podcast, and he also creates exceptional videos for many other clients in the Wichita area, especially for realtors. So if you're interested in starting a podcast, or if you're looking for some high quality branding videos, look no further. So Troy is the master storyteller through video, and he will definitely bring your brand to life. So on that, I'm your host, Sam Luciorini, and we have preferred partner here, Josh Counce of Bright Light Inspections, and his guest, Realtor Aimee Counce. So on that note, we are going to be talking about marriages and working together in the business and some inspections and real estate and a little bit of everything in between. So Josh, start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you invited Aimee.
Sure. Well, I'm a home inspector here in Wichita, Kansas. Previously, I was a Wichita firefighter as well and spent 10 years in the restaurant business prior to that. So now I've been doing home inspections. This has been my first year doing it full time. The last several years were part time, and the business has continued to grow. It's doing really well. And just brought Aimee because she's the prettiest realtor I know. And I thought, who better than my own wife. So
nailed it. I love it. And I'm so glad that you did. So Aimee, tell us a little bit about your history in real estate. I know it's been a spectacular one in these last few years, but just for our audience listening and watching, tell us, where you're at and how long you've been doing real estate.
So I've been doing real estate coming up on 4 years in April. The end of 2018, beginning of 2019, Josh, he actually pushed me into real estate.
I love that.
He kept mentioning, hey, I think you'd be really good at it. And with my personality, I don't like to do anything I'm not immediately great at.
Sure.
So it took him quite a while to convince me to do it, but I did it. And the first year was kind of slow, but then it kind of took off. And yeah. And then I actually talked him into doing home inspections after that. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
That's awesome. You guys can each take the blame and the credit depending on the day, right? For what you're doing now. Banging your head against the wall, being like, why are we entrepreneurs? Yeah. Very good. So Josh, talk to us a little bit about your industry with inspections. We all know, we're not going to ignore the elephant in the room that, the market is a little bit weird right now. Sure. Right. And so, and you were doing home inspections before COVID and all of that. So tell us, what's a typical day look like for you now doing inspections full time?
Sure. So for us, we have 3 kids. And so the mornings are obviously crazy, just trying to get everybody up and going. But I'll take off and I'll do 2 inspections a day, one at 8:30 and one at noon. That way I can be home when the kids are out of school, and then she can take off and do her real estate stuff.
That's awesome.
With the inspection business, it's changed drastically in the past, 10, 20 years. Years ago, realtors would have a home inspector come through with a piece of paper and a pencil, and just write things up. And now we're using technology, infrared cameras, doing things that are very advanced. So we can find a lot more issues with homes. The whole industry's changed. And so it's been kind of a interesting thing. I'm coming in on the side of this is the newer technology. And so I see processes of how you can get through a house and find issues that maybe some guys don't do, or things that they aren't willing to try. Because I'm always open to new technology or new ideas. So
that's awesome. So would you say that technology is allowing you to see a lot more and find a lot more that the home inspectors of 10, 15 years might not have been able to?
Sure. Yeah. There's areas and attics you can access where you can look for insulation, things you can do, that are non-invasive, testing for moisture, things like that. So it's been good. I think a lot of the Wichita realtors have done a good job of not waiving inspections, even though you may not ask for repairs. Your buyer needs to know what they're getting into. So even if you're not going to ask for repairs, you're buying it as is, you still need an inspection.
I would agree.
Even on new construction, I've found attics without insulation. I found a sewer line that was busted the other day, all on new homes. And so these things can happen, and that's what I'm here for. I always like to say, I'm just here to report on the condition of the home. I'm not. Yeah,
you have no skin in the game. You're getting paid no matter what happens.
It doesn't matter to me. So I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you what you want to hear as far as the facts. And then from there, we can talk about what's important and what's not important as far as repairs. So
that's fantastic. I love that. So what is, and this is always one of my favorite questions, what's the craziest inspection story or the craziest thing you found?
Well, I think every day has a little bit of crazy in it.
Sure. Yes, that's fair. That's life.
I'm
yes.
currently dealing with a skunk in a crawl space.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's a fun one.
I was getting ready to finish up this inspection the other day for a realtor, and I was getting ready to go down the crawl space, and the termite guy said, "Hey, I found something down there." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, there was some poop, and then there was some eyes looking at me." He's like, "So I got out of there," and they're trying to evict another pest control guy. I think said it's a skunk down there, so they're trying to get him out. So I'm just glad I didn't go down there because she would have had me sleeping in the basement that night.
Yeah, you would have been in the garage even potentially. Okay,
yeah,
very
not
good.
inside the house. You're right. I don't know, freezing out on the deck.
Yeah, that's all right. So, what is your 5-year goal with Bright Light Inspections here in our Wichita market?
So for me, my goal, I don't have plans to become a multi-inspector firm. I want to just be a solo inspector. If I do ever hire someone, he'll just be tagging along with me. I might be a control freak. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. Type A. That's a good entrepreneurial characteristic.
But anyway, so I just want to continue to grow. I have room to grow because I left the fire department and I have, more availability. Last year did around 300 inspections. We're looking to get up to 400. That's where I'd like to be.
That's incredible.
I think that gives me a good balance of doing, 2 a day, giving your house the time it deserves, but still having good quality of life. As much as I care about money, we care about our kids and our family.
That's right.
Even more. So
yeah, great. I like that. I love to hear that those priorities are in check. What is, and Aimee might be able to answer this better, is there an unusual habit or an absurd thing that we might be surprised or pleased to learn about you? Something we can make fun of you for later, basically.
Yeah, I'm a neat freak, and we have 3 kids, so I never have a clean house.
No.
Even after it's clean, within 20 minutes, it's dirty. So,
that's right. That's okay.
Yeah, I've been struggling with adapting to that over the past 7 years.
Yeah, I'm still adapting to that with dogs and kids, and my kid's 17. So is your work truck and all of your work supplies, are they just amazingly organized then?
Pretty well.
Yeah. Okay.
He gets in my car and he's not happy.
Well, yes, you're officing and living and managing all out of the car.
I usually have the kids, right? So it's just a disaster.
That's
He's
right.
like, how can you live your life this way?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, I think just like a monthly car detailing service. There you go.
There you go.
Husband of the year. There we go.
Yeah.
So what is, before we move on to Aimee, Josh, what is one thing or a couple of things that you want our Wichita real estate community to know about you and your business?
The most important thing for me is my relationship with God. So that guides my decision making. And, so essentially, I always answer to one person. So I'm never going to do things that are unethical. You're not going to have to worry about that. You're going to have to worry about the trust issue with me. And the other thing is that, as a sole inspector, you're going to get me every time. So it's not going to be maybe my assistant or someone else. So you know the consistency of what you're going to get each time with me.
Yeah, very standardized.
Once you schedule with me, I handle the termite inspector scheduling, the radon testing. I do the sewer line scopes. So everything is handled. Once you book it, even the online payments, nothing. Once you schedule an inspection as a realtor, you don't have to touch.
That's right.
You don't even have to show up if I can get a CBS code. So I just make it as easy as possible as I can on the realtors. So.
That's fantastic. Yeah, they want that. They want to know that they're handing their clients over to you. You're going to knock it out of the park, make them look like a rock star, and it's one less thing they have to worry about. They just receive reports.
Something I've also had a lot of success with, or people really appreciated, is as you're going to showings, you come across something and you're not sure what it is, you shoot me a text and I'll respond pretty quickly with what it is or whether it's a concern. So
That's fantastic.
It really helps, especially younger realtors as they're growing. They can just, without any shame, send me a text and I'll answer as honestly as I can. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. That's a huge hack. And I think especially for any agent, no matter how long they've been in the industry, you're walking through and you don't want to BS your clients as if you know everything. You're not supposed to know everything, but you know who to call. And if you can get an answer right away, I think that would just solidify that trust of those clients and that realtor.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Pretty awesome. Very good. I like it. That means your phone is always living on you, and that's
I'm on
okay.
my phone a lot.
That's
I get in trouble for that.
That's okay. Well, I mean, that's what happens when you're running your own business.
Both of our jobs are almost exclusively through our cell phones. So
I know. I agree. Yeah. So the batteries.
It's a challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I know. It's hard to get off of that. All right. So Miss Aimee, talk to us a little bit about, were you always passionate about real estate and you just had to wait until the kids were a certain age? Or, was it always a seed that had been planted, or was this just a brand new idea? And why? Why did you pull the trigger on that?
It was a brand new idea by Josh. So in college, I really wanted to be in the fitness industry. So after we got married, I was a personal trainer for a while, and then we just kind of realized it wasn't going to be conducive to family life and the goals that we had. And so then I stayed home with our kids for quite a while, did odd jobs here and there. office work usually, but yeah, then he just kind of pushed me into real estate, and it's been great. I love the flexibility of it, and I love the different atmosphere every day. Every day is different, and I have that personality where I don't like to be at one location all the time.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot.
Always on the go.
On the go.
By noon, if we haven't left the house, she's ready to get out. And I'm like, can we just hang out here?
No.
Yeah.
I
You're not a homebody.
I like my house.
I do not like
So then how did you fare during COVID? Oh, word. I bet you were outside with the kids all the time.
Oh, yeah.
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 We were out and about doing all kinds of stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then outside of work, aside from kid things, or we can talk about the kid things, what are you doing a lot with your time?
So I do hang out with the kids a lot.
Yeah.
But I also coach volleyball.
Okay. That makes sense because you're very tall.
I played volleyball in college, and this past year I had the opportunity to coach my own team. So that was super fun. I'm about to start spring season too. So
that's wonderful.
That's
Who or where are you coaching?
So I was actually homeschooled, K through 12.
Yes.
So I'm coaching with my alma mater, the Wichita Warriors, the homeschool group.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Would you say that homeschool volleyball group is better than some of the others because they do have a little bit more time and flexibility in their schedule to devote?
Yeah. It's always really fun to play the public schools because it's,
they probably think that you're the underdog and they have no idea.
Right.
I love that.
It's really fun.
You get out there and show them.
Yeah.
Okay. I can understand that. So tell me how you would describe our real estate market today.
It's crazy. It's just wild. There's houses that fly off the market, and then there's houses that sit for a while. The pricing is the key, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the key.
And I know we were talking a little bit before we went live about the interest rates, and then I think everyone's looking forward to a little bit more of a break with that.
Yeah.
I know 2 decades ago, people were refining down to the rates that are currently,
Right.
But when we had such low hanging fruit for so long, in unprecedented times, which we will probably never see again, people are still freaking out, particularly lenders.
Yes.
And we just need them to calm down.
Calm down.
Because the storm will pass.
Right.
You just have to weather the storm. And this is a relationship heavy business.
Yes.
Right. And those that have good relationships with realtors are going to survive. Those realtors that have good relationships with their clients in their sphere are going to survive.
Right.
And now is not the time to run away or turtle shell or be
Panic.
scared.
Yeah.
Yep.
No panicking.
No, because you're going to have to fight back twice as hard to get back to where you are.
For
Because other people are going to come in and take advantage of that opportunity and love on your sphere and love on your realtors. So that makes sense. What purchase of $100 or less have you found really helpful and useful? And this is another one of my favorite questions because I love to learn. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to Amazon and get that, or I'm going to implement that.
That's so tough.
I know it is.
It's a really
because things are so expensive now.
I know they are so expensive. A couple things like maybe a good pair of jeans. Those will just change your life.
Yes.
Couple books.
Yeah. Are you reading any favorite books right now?
I do have a book that I love. It's by Allie Beth Stuckey. It's called You're Not Enough and That's Okay. It kind of combats the self-love culture. So I just love it. It's very uplifting, very encouraging, especially to Christian moms and women. It's a really good book, and it's like $10 on Amazon. So
so it's called You're Not Enough and That's Okay.
You're Not Enough and That's Okay.
I like it. It's very. I mean, that's a very real title as well.
Yeah, I love it.
It's very honest. Okay. I know one thing when I was doing real estate full time, something that was amazing was like the laser measure, like distance measures.
Yeah.
Those are phenomenal.
Yeah,
I feel like
she stole mine.
I did.
I would assume that might be a good tool that you'd have.
I can't figure out how to make it switch from feet to inches though. So like the other day I tried to use it and I couldn't figure it out.
I'll fix it.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
You trained him well. This is good. I like it. You're learning together. So what failure or an apparent failure has actually set you up for a lot of success?
So like for both of us, I think that during when I was staying at home and kind of doing odd jobs, we had a woodworking business that we did for, how long was that?
2 years.
So we made stuff and we went to all these craft shows and we did everything. We made these flags. We had a big old shop going and it just ended up being kind of a failure. We worked so hard on it but it really helped us. It helped us learn how to market ourselves, how to run your business finances. It taught us a lot and it really helped us in becoming 100% entrepreneurs.
It laid
That's
the groundwork
awesome.
for where we're at now.
Yeah,
It
it sure
really
did.
And it also taught me that, you know, it's okay if something fails. Like you just keep going. It just,
right.
you know, move on to the next thing. It
You
doesn't
just
matter.
fail forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really helped in that entrepreneurial mindset. Like he was saying, if something fails, try something else. But I think we're both on the same page. It's like we never want to work for, you know, the man again.
Right.
We want to be our own boss forever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect. I mean, that's exactly what that question is set up for, is to help us reflect. Because in the moment, right, it feels terrible and it feels heavy and it's very negative. But looking back, you're like, I'm really grateful. Yeah. I'm grateful for the pain. I'm grateful for the lessons, the learnings. And that's
I remember
fantastic.
when we were finishing that business, we worked through Christmas and got all the you know, items finished for the Christmas orders. And I think I took a day or two off and then started studying for home inspections. It was just like moving on to the next thing.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like men might be a little bit better at moving on that quickly and cutting the emotional ties.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, but
I feel
all
like we
our
need to
stuff is
wallow.
so cute.
That's right. Yeah. We
I
need
sold
to.
the CNC and just moved on.
Good for you.
Yeah. We just next step. So.
I like that. Okay. Perfect. All right. If you had, and sometimes I'm surprised by this question, it's not always as a parent as you would assume. And this question goes for both of you. If you had a giant billboard in town, where would it be and what would it say?
Mine would be somewhere on the west side. Okay. And it would say West is best.
And we just opened up a can of worms. All right. That's fair. That's fair. All right, Josh.
That's tough. I don't know. I'd probably do something. I like to do things that are unorthodox. So, you know, like my banner that I have for trade shows has like the Batman type of bright light inspections. Calling a certified home inspector. We need someone good. You know, that's me. Okay. That was just something fun, probably.
Yeah, something memorable.
Yeah, put it downtown or out west, like she said. So.
Have you?
Or I should put that billboard out east.
I know.
West is best.
That's right.
That's right. That way. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it would get attention, and as long as your name is on there, I mean, it's attention.
It is.
Yeah, that works. Have you seen any of the Bat Dad stuff on social media?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can be the next.
Oof.
Yeah.
Making TikTok videos sounds exhausting. I might need to try it.
You might have to fail forward for a long time on that one.
I got to do that before I start my golf influencer TikTok. So we'll fail on that one and then we'll do that.
Lordy.
That's right. Yes, I know. Yeah. And so when we did your partner spotlight not too long ago, there was a really cool picture of you there with golf. So what is that something that you spend a lot of time doing when you have some free time?
It's my one hobby. I mean, I still like doing woodworking and do projects.
Yes.
I mean, she keeps me really busy with projects at home.
Good honeydews.
But anytime I have a chance, I play golf. We live over in Reflection Ridge, so it's nice. I can just hop out there for an hour, or like even if I only have time for 5 holes, I mean, I'll do it. I'm that crazy. So and it's nice. I mean, it's great because the kids can come with me, and we have good conversations and stuff. So it's fun.
That's right. Yeah. I like that. Okay, excellent. So what is how are you guys balancing that family life? I know that because there's a lot of people out there that choose to be entrepreneurs or solopreneurs because they want the flexibility, and then they find out, oh my gosh, I'm devoting almost all of my time to work and building this business. And I know you touched a little bit about that you guys have this nice cadence in the morning in your schedules. But do you take like dedicated time off? Is there I mean, what are the tips and hints that you can give to other working couples like this about balancing a little bit more family life?
It's definitely tough because you'll get calls when the kids, and I mean, honestly, and a lot of other mom realtors do too. Like if you hear a kid screaming in the background, like, I'm really sorry.
Forgive me. Yeah, I'm working.
It's totally fine. And I think that's what I love also about, especially women realtors, is like, I get it. Like, it's not a big deal. Who cares if your kid's screaming?
That's right. They've all been there. It's either that or a dog barking.
Yeah, they all, and like the new girls who are joining my team, because I did just launch my own team this year.
Okay.
Yes. So the new girls on my team, they're all moms. And so we've talked about the balancing of life and everything. And honestly, in this job, doing real estate, I have so much more time with my kids than I did with other jobs. Because you can do both. I can be texting a client and hanging out, watching a movie with my kids at the same time. And a lot of the real estate stuff, I can't remember who told me this at the very beginning of real estate. It's like nothing is a emergency unless the house is on fire.
Right.
Like nothing.
Which you almost had.
Yes. Oh, I can imagine.
Your fence.
Oh, I did. I forgot about
Okay, tell us about that, because these are the good, juicy stories. This makes other people feel good.
That was early on in your career.
Oh my goodness, that was wild. Okay, so I had this seller who he sold on, it was like it was right by Christmas. So he sold on like the 20th or something. And the new owner was going to let him do a rent back and stay until after Christmas. It was like 2 weeks or something. Mm-hmm. So he calls me on Christmas Eve and he's like, hey, Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing great. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, thanks, awesome. I hope
very
you're
sweet.
It's very sweet. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I was taking some of the papers that were inside and I was going to burn them in the backyard.
On a windy day.
It was like the windiest day of the year on Christmas Eve.
Lord have mercy.
And the whole fence on fire. The whole fence got on fire.
Hopefully both people had insurance at this point.
Well, and that was what I was telling him because he had closed. So I was like, you need to call your insurance company, see if there's like an umbrella or something.
Yeah,
thankfully
renter's insurance.
Because not only the fence burned down, but his neighbor's shed burned down too.
You can't make this stuff up.
Oh my gosh.
But I just thought it was hilarious that he was being so sweet. And he was like, I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas. And then after we have like a 5-10 minute conversation about Christmas and family and stuff, he's like, oh, by the way. I was like, oh no.
I'm sure he was so scared and nervous to like build himself up.
I mean, it ended up being fine. He's very, very sweet, but it ended up fine. His insurance covered it. But
that's why you always have insurance coverage, people.
Yes.
Jeez
so
Louise.
That was why I forgot about that.
Yeah,
okay.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
So tell us a little bit about your team. I know you said you just launched a team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear it. Because that's incredible. 4 years in the business
yes.
and you've got your own team. Was that always the goal or is it just naturally has occurred that way?
So it's, again, attributed to Josh. He's always like...
Be careful. Whatever you recommend to her, this girl's going to do,
I'm a little
Josh.
pushy, yeah.
That's okay.
Pushy.
That's all right.
So for maybe like a year, you've been like, babe, you can do it. You can do your own team.
Yes.
And I'm very much like I don't like to cause waves. I don't like to do anything like that. And so I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of happy where I'm at.
She's a peacekeeper, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm a peacekeeper. And so it finally was like, I think I'm ready to do it after he was talking to me about it for a long time. So I started my own team. I have a team of 4 now.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. All boss ladies. And
I love that.
Yeah. We all have babies.
Today's International Women's Day. We're recording on that. So there's that.
Yeah, so it's really fun. It's called Pure Real Estate. We're at Keller Williams hometown.
I love that.
So watch out, world.
I know. Watch out. Here they come. Here they come. Very cool. Any bad recommendations that you'd like to share that you hear in your profession that you would like to debunk? And this will go to you too. So you can be thinking about this question or if you would like to go first. Okay, you go first, Josh.
Okay, so just bad advice, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like things that you hear people say about the inspection business, and
sure.
something a myth that you'd want to debunk.
Yeah, so the easy one, the low-hanging fruit, is the one that gets talked about a lot. It's deal killers. Are you a deal killer? Are you coming in and just writing everything up and saying that this house is going to fall apart? I think first of all, I'm not that guy, but second of all, I think when you look at it that way, that's a problem. You need to look at it as I'm here to report on the condition of the home, and I'm just giving you the facts. And so, naturally, some people may tend to make things sound a little bit worse than they are. I'm not that guy. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say, hey, I wrote this, and this up, but those are minor details. We're actually going to skip over those while we're talking. I'm going to focus on these main points. You can read all this later, but I want you to focus on these 5 things. And then what I like to do also is kind of say, hey, if I were buying this home, this would be my top concern or my top 3 concerns. It's a powerful
statement.
Yes. And it gives people a peace of mind because I do this every day. I see houses every day. I see, really nice houses and really not so nice houses.
Yes.
So
very nice way to say that.
I've seen, different foundation movement. I've seen different things with roofs, all kinds of things that can happen. And the main thing is that you just go into it with an open mind and listen and not freak out and not panic I'm not the guy that's going to cause that. I'm just going to be very honest with you and then also ease your nerves and say, hey, anything can be fixed. There's nothing that can't be fixed. I've seen a whole new foundation on an old house, with 10-foot vaulted ceilings out in Newton. So that house had a complete new foundation installed. Anything can be fixed. It's just
just got to work together.
Can we get it done and how much it's going to cost, essentially. So
Sure. One thing I really like about you, Josh, and something that I want the real estate industry to know as well, is that you come from this background of fighting fires.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of something that's more adrenaline laced than that. So you have seen the things where you freak out, where a normal person would freak out, and you've still maintained your cool. You've seen the worst car wrecks. The firefighters are the first responders to the most horrific things that the world could create. And you've got that. So doing home inspections and having popcorn ceilings or a leaky basement, like that's nothing. And so I can see where your calm demeanor and you're just cool and collected will help the realtors and the clients also stay calm.
That's one of the biggest things you're trained on when being in the fire department is that, especially because you're in a fire and so you're talking to this little microphone that's right here, and you have to be calm, because if you're worked up, no one can understand you.
And you're gonna lose all your air too.
Yeah, and so you're in the middle of you have a limited amount of air. You have 75 to 100 pounds of gear on you, and you're working through this house and trying to keep your breath calm, and so it's really engraved in you, and so that probably has transferred over. And
without a doubt,
I would agree that I've seen some of the worst things, and so I have perspective, and so I can help bring that to people.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, Miss Aimee, what would be some bad things that you hear, some myths in real estate that you'd like to debunk?
A lot of people who are outside of real estate think that real estate's super easy.
Right, of course.
And I mean, it's not.
No, it's not. It is a grind. All the time.
It's a grind.
Mentally, emotionally.
I tell people basically I'm putting out fires all day long. Just things that come up, people freaking out over something, and I have to remain very calm. Listen, nothing's an emergency. Like we were talking about earlier. Nothing's an emergency. We will figure this out. I am your advocate, and I'm here to help you figure it out. At the end of the day, it'll be okay.
Yes. And then you can go home and get calmed by him.
Right.
She's putting out fires now.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Probably the biggest thing.
Okay. That makes sense. I love that. All right. Well, before we finish up, we're going to do some fun little speed round questions of would you rather. Okay. You can give your reason why you answer that, and these questions apply to both of you. So would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Fur.
Okay.
Can you remove the fur?
It's cold here.
That's a question.
Like a fur coat?
I mean, like, can you wax it or like shave it or?
We can make this anything you want. Yes. Whatever you want.
The fur.
Okay.
I feel like scales would be painful.
Would you rather spend a year in jail or go to jail with a Rubik's Cube and not leave until you complete it?
Ooh, Rubik's Cube. I would stay up till I got it figured out.
I'd be in there for years.
I know, that's how I feel. And other people are like, I can do that in 60 seconds. I'm like, well, God bless your brain.
Did you see there's a kid on YouTube that can juggle 3 and solve them at the same time?
At the same time.
Yeah.
Troy, have you seen this on YouTube? Yeah. Oh boy.
It's wild.
I feel like we need to have a Rubik's Cube here on our desk from now on.
Yeah, you can't leave the podcast till you solve
That's right.
Oh,
that's
no.
right.
I'd be here forever.
I know, me too, girl. I'd be taking stickers off and redoing stickers. Be like, done. Sure. You didn't say how to do it. Okay. Would you rather be able to go back in time or tell the future?
Back in time.
Okay. I think we agree on that. I think the future could be a lot to take in.
Yeah. I don't think we should
take it one day at a time. Yeah. I can go back. May change
some mulligans.
Stuff. May not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense. A new build or 100-year-old home?
New build.
Oh, that's powerful coming from the inspectors.
100%. The reason why everything has a life expectancy.
That's right. Yes.
So the siding, the windows, the foundation, the electrical, everything at some point will have to be upgraded, replaced, because nothing lasts forever, and that's just the way the world is. So new or better, in my opinion. Sure, there might be different downs to it, but overall, definitely new.
You can still have a lot of characteristic built into a new build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
The people love old houses, and I don't mind them, but as long as you're fixing stuff on them. So
okay.
Yeah, I would probably say new build.
New build. Okay, fair. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. Preferably neither, but
you've got kids. You've got enough going on.
Well, he talked me into a dog, and it's.
That's right.
We've got a really fun dog. She's coming around.
He's not fun.
He doesn't bark. That's the best thing about him. He doesn't bark.
Okay, but he's so little that he escapes, because in Reflection you can't have like a wooden fence, and so we have a metal fence, and he just slips through every day.
You need to put something on him so his little head can't
we did.
Yeah.
He's an escape artist.
We put a big like straight stick thing.
Yeah.
And we attached it to his
He just went sideways.
Can you please put these things on Instagram and Facebook? I need to consume this.
He needs to show you he had a ball jacket, like big balls on him, and he would still get through.
Yeah. So I got to do the
This is awesome.
And he's so fast. So you try to go catch him, and he's like, this is fun. Let's play chase.
Yeah.
I left him one day. I had to go get the
Right.
kids. I was like,
God bless you. Figure it out.
Yeah, if you're here, you're here. If
He's
you're
not.
not,
If it's meant to be.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's not going to go anywhere or cause any problems, so it's fine.
That's adorable.
He just goes in the neighbor's yard and plays with their dogs.
Okay, perfect.
Poops
All right.
over there.
There
Yeah.
you go. Last one. Would you rather lose the ability to read or to write?
Right.
To write.
Except for I could do speak to text on my job, so I'd
yeah.
be okay.
See, I know these are the hacks. Yeah. This
Yeah.
Is what,
Probably.
okay.
I don't know. That's tough.
I know.
Because if you can't, but you can't
I
write.
think they're
if you
hand
can't
in
read.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we didn't make that. I mean, that's, okay. Maybe I need to put parameters initials. But
We're too literal. Yeah.
yes,
sorry.
we're too literal. No, I feel like, you could still listen to audiobooks. You could still speak to text,
Oh, yeah.
So there's.
Yeah.
there's
I'd
pros
probably
and
do
cons.
that. Yeah.
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 Well, thankfully that's not happening to any of
Yeah,
us. So that's all
thankfully.
right. Well, that's about it, you guys. Thank you both, Aimee and Josh, for joining us
Thanks
this
for having
morning
us.
and
Yeah,
taking
it's
some
been fun.
time out of your busy schedule. It's good to get to know you guys. I am always a fan of a real estate couple. I think that's really tremendous. And I think that really speaks volume about your relationship to know that you're in the same industry and you're doing it really well. So
Thank you.
kudos to you both. As always, Wichita Real Producers appreciates you listening and viewing our Beyond the Pages podcast. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube and to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you don't miss any of our weekly podcast drops. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.